about Errol who was a rice farmer in Lake Arthur, Louisiana. I'm not from Louisiana myself, but I just am such a big fan.
It's a cool place.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a lot cooler than a lot of places. A lot cooler than a lot of places.
Yeah.
No, not literally.
You're northern.
Well,
It's a great song.
anyway, this is a song about this guy that was a rice farmer and a duck. He took me and my dad duck hunting and goose hunting.
Yeah.
And I just being from anybody here is from Louisiana is just it, you know. I personally, when I came, I was from East Texas, and so when I came there, when I went to South Louisiana for the first time, I was just blown away. And there, you know, you don't when you go to a convenience store in East Texas, for instance, you know, I don't know, it's one of those. It's just one of those things. When you go to a convenience store in South Louisiana, they offer you a shot. And then you get to go gamble.
That's it.
You don't get that in East Texas at all.
You don't get that in North Louisiana.
You don't get that in North Louisiana.
Nope, it's East Texas too.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. But anyway, so I was just when I got going to meet this guy. He was just a really interesting, great guy, rice farmer, farmed crawfish, and and hunted ducks and geese. And so there was like thousands of geese flying overhead, and there's nothing like the sound of that. And they were Canadian geese. You could tell the difference between one of those and the other geese.
They don't say egg.
How's that?
Because they both like to party. But anyway, Errol was a real good, and this is my favorite song that I've written, and he is real close to my heart, I guess, and I know it. And he is passed on, but he liked this song a lot, so it was a big honor for me to write it. And I got my dad got to see him. Before he had died, and they went to his house, and he said, how's my song doing? And he said, well, I'm glad you asked, because Adam is really enjoying his career. And he said, well, I don't really care about that. I just want to know about my song. Which I'm glad for that. So here's the song about Errol. It's called Errol Song. Mr. Errol, he lives on the banks of Lake Arthur, where your windshield gets foggy, where your back roads unwind. It's a long way from Shreveport, not too far from Gueydan, and it's close to the home that I left behind. It's close to the home that I left behind. Mr. Errol is a farmer, he's a father, he's a hunter, and he talks to the ducks and the geese in the blind. Works hard for the lives that he hopes to make better, and he lives by the graveyard of the rusty combine. He lives by the graveyard of the rusty combine. He held my hand when my boots got too heavy, with the mud from the rice field coming to my behind. He set out the decoys in the dark on the levee. We walked through the graveyard of the rusty combine. We walked through the graveyard of the rusty combine. There's coffee and biscuits on the stove in the kitchen. There's a crack in the ceiling. There's a screened-in front door. When the fog starts to settle on the banks of Lake Arthur, I can still taste the whiskey from the night just before. Crown Royal whiskey from the night just before. It's hard to get up at 3 in the morning wine in a sack. We look like some militia with our boots and our camo, with a bird dog named Milo. He's asleep in the back. Alright, he held my hand when my boots got too heavy, with the mud from the rice field coming to my behind. We set out the decoys in the dark on the levee. We walked through the graveyard of the rusty combine. We walked through the graveyard of the rusty combine. Well, the combine's a monster, and the combine's a savior. Looking down at the place, I see heaven and hell. Cold steel cut the rice crops for acres and acres, and filled how many barrels, I cannot tell. Filled how many dryers, I cannot tell. From the banks of Lake Arthur to the Mermitau River, there's water as far as your good eyes can see. In the Lake Arthur bar, all the old men get rowdy. They got bottles of whiskey that are older than me. And he held my hand when my boots got too heavy, with the mud from the rice field coming to my behind. We set out the decoys in the dark on the levee. We walked through the graveyard of the rusty combine. We walked through the graveyard of the rusty combine. Sometimes I dream of a girl in a pickup, with her windows rolled down, with her radio on. When you look at the cypress on the highway 190, then you give her a wave and you sing Joe LeBlanc. You give her a wave and you sing Joe LeBlanc. Mr. Errol's a good friend, he's never a stranger. When I come back, it seems like I've always been here. There's a sign in his kitchen, it's written in French. When you run out of Schlitz, you run out of beer. He held my hand when my boots got too heavy, with the mud from the rice field coming to my behind. We set out the decoys in the dark on the levee. We walked through